Welcome the spicy lady. The strongest impressions are often made by the qualities we never realize we are showing. Have you ever stopped to think that the things people remember most about you may not be the things you try to show? That is especially true for many spicy lady sigma. While the world often focuses on appearance, popularity, or charm, men frequently notice something much deeper. They notice quiet habits, natural reactions, and everyday choices that reveal character without a single word being spoken. The interesting part is that most spicy lady sigma are completely unaware of this. They are not trying to stand out or create an image. They simply move through life according to their values. Yet those small moments, how they listen, how they respond to pressure, how they treat people, and how they carry themselves, often leave a lasting impression that is difficult to forget. In this video, we are going beyond the usual ideas and exploring 12 surprising things men notice about spicy lady sigma that many spicy lady sigma never even realize. These are not the common points you hear over and over again. They are honest observations based on everyday human behavior and the quiet details that shape real connections. Be sure to watch until the end, because every point builds on the previous one. And by the final insight, you will have a much deeper understanding of why spicy lady sigma affect people in ways they often never recognize themselves. After watching, I would love to hear your thoughts. So, share your perspective in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and found it valuable, please share it with someone who would appreciate it and subscribe to join our growing community. Thank you for your support. It truly means a lot and helps us continue creating meaningful content like this. Now, let's get started. The spicy lady. Number 1. They never look like they are selling themselves. Many people unconsciously advertise their intelligence, kindness, beauty, or success. Spicy lady sigma often don't. Men notice the absence of self-promotion, which ironically creates far more curiosity than constant self-presentation. One of the most surprising things men notice about a spicy lady sigma is that she never seems interested in convincing anyone of her worth. She does not spend her time dropping hints about how smart she is, how kind she has been, or how successful her life is. She simply lets her actions do the talking. Ironically, this often makes people far more curious about her than someone who constantly talks about their achievements. In today's world, many people feel pressure to present the best version of themselves all the time. Every conversation becomes a chance to mention a promotion, an expensive purchase, an impressive connection, or another personal victory. There is nothing wrong with celebrating success. But when every interaction feels like a personal advertisement, people begin to question what is real. A spicy lady sigma takes a different path. If she has accomplished something meaningful, she rarely feels the need to announce it. If she is knowledgeable, she waits until the moment calls for it instead of trying to prove it. If she is kind, she does not keep score or remind people of everything she has done. This quiet confidence leaves a stronger impression because it feels honest. Imagine two women meeting someone for the first time. One spends the entire conversation listing her accomplishments and explaining why she is different from everyone else. The other asks thoughtful questions, listens carefully, and only shares parts of her story when they naturally fit the conversation. Days later, many men find themselves thinking more about the second woman. They are left wondering what else they have yet to discover. That is the quiet power of not selling yourself. Curiosity grows where there is room to explore. People value discoveries they make on their own far more than information that is constantly presented to them. Many spicy lady sigma never realize this is one of their greatest strengths. They understand that respect cannot be demanded and admiration cannot be forced. The strongest reputation is built over time by consistent character, not constant promotion. In the end, people may forget the ones who kept talking about themselves, but they rarely forget the person who allowed her life to speak louder than her words. Number 2. They don't accidentally flirt. One thing many men quietly notice about a spicy lady sigma is that her kindness is rarely confused with flirting. She does not send mixed signals without realizing it. The way she speaks, smiles, or gives attention usually reflects exactly how she feels in that moment. Because of that, people find it much easier to trust her actions, even if they cannot always predict them. This is becoming increasingly rare. Many people naturally use playful words, constant compliments, or casual physical contact without giving it much thought. They may laugh a little longer than they mean to, send messages that sound more personal than intended, or create expectations they never planned to fulfill. Later, misunderstandings happen because one person thought there was genuine interest, while the other was simply being friendly. A spicy Lady Sigma often avoids this without even trying. She believes attention has value, so she gives it carefully. If she asks about your day, she genuinely wants to know that if she remembers something you told her weeks ago, it is because she was actually listening. That if she chooses to spend extra time with someone, it is usually a deliberate choice, not something she does with everyone. Imagine a man who works with several women. Most of them are warm and outgoing with everyone in the office, so it becomes difficult to know when someone is showing real interest. Then there is one woman who treats everyone with respect, but reserves her deeper attention for only a few people. The day she stays behind to continue a conversation or checks in on someone without being asked, it immediately feels meaningful because it is different from her normal behavior. This is one reason men often remember spicy Lady Sigma long after simple conversations. Their actions have clarity. There's very little emotional confusion because they do not hand out personal attention as a habit. They understand that small gestures can create big expectations, so they are naturally careful with them. Many spicy Lady Sigma never realize how powerful this is. They are not playing hard to get or trying to appear mysterious. They simply believe that genuine interest should look different from everyday politeness. That in a world filled with mixed signals, that honesty stands out more than they could ever imagine. Number 3. They make comfort feel earned. One of the first things many men notice about a spicy Lady Sigma is something she usually has no idea she is doing. She does not rush to make people feel comfortable. That is not because she is cold, unfriendly, or trying to create mystery. It is simply because she believes real comfort cannot be forced. It grows naturally through time, honesty, and shared experiences. Think about how many conversations today begin with people trying too hard to be liked. They laugh at jokes they do not find funny. They agree with opinions they do not believe. They reveal too much too soon just to create a quick connection. A spicy Lady Sigma rarely plays that game. She would rather let people discover her little by little. Surprisingly, that often creates a stronger bond. Many men find this refreshing because it feels real. When a spicy Lady Sigma smiles, it usually means she genuinely enjoyed the moment. When she opens up about her life, it is because trust has been built, not because silence made her uncomfortable. That authenticity carries a different kind of value. It tells people that what they are receiving is real, not a performance. Imagine meeting two people. One treats you like an old friend within 5 minutes. The other is polite, listens carefully, and slowly becomes warmer as the conversation unfolds. Weeks later, which connection is more likely to feel solid? For many people, it is the second one because it was built instead of manufactured. This is something many spicy Lady Sigma never recognize about themselves. Their calm approach teaches people patience without saying a word. It reminds others that meaningful relationships are not instant. They are created through consistency, respect, and time. In a world that constantly pushes for immediate closeness, a spicy Lady Sigma quietly proves that the strongest connections are often the ones that are never rushed. That is exactly why men remember how they felt around her long after the conversation has ended. Number 4. They make men think about their own lives. One of the most unexpected things men notice about a spicy Lady Sigma is that she has a way of making them think about themselves. She's not trying to be a life coach or give speeches about how people should live. That simply happens because of the way she sees the world. Her questions are thoughtful, her observations are honest, and the way she lives often makes people pause and examine their own choices. Most conversations stay on the surface. People talk about work, money, entertainment, or what is happening online. A spicy Lady Sigma often takes conversations somewhere different without forcing it. She might ask, "Are you actually happy doing that?" Or, "When was the last time you did something just because you enjoyed it?" They sound like simple questions, but they have a way of staying in someone's mind long after the conversation is over. Imagine a man who has spent years chasing promotions because everyone around him said that was the definition of success. Then he meets a spicy Lady Sigma who genuinely enjoys a simple life, protects her peace, and never measures her worth by titles or applause. She does not tell him he is wrong. She simply lives differently. Weeks later, he finds himself wondering if he has been running towards someone else's dream instead of his own. That is the quiet influence of a spicy Lady Sigma. She rarely changes people through arguments. She changes them by giving them something they have not had in a long time, which is a different perspective. Sometimes, all it takes is one honest conversation for a person to start asking questions they have avoided for years. Many spicy Lady Sigma have no idea they do this. They believe they are simply being themselves. They do not realize that their calm way of thinking challenges people to slow down and look inward. Men notice this because it is rare to meet someone who does not pressure them to impress, compete, or perform. Instead, they leave feeling as though they have learned something about themselves. That is a gift few people possess. The people we remember most are not always the ones who entertained us. They are often the ones who quietly helped us see our own lives more clearly. And a spicy Lady Sigma does that more often than she realizes. Number 5. Their happiness doesn't depend on being chosen. One of the rarest qualities men notice is that her mood hardly changes whether someone likes her or not. One of the deepest things many men notice about a spicy Lady Sigma is that her happiness does not rise and fall based on whether someone chooses her. She enjoys meaningful relationships, values genuine companionship, and appreciates people who treat her well. But she does not build her entire sense of worth around being accepted, admired, or pursued. That difference is much bigger than most people realize. Many people unknowingly hand over the keys to their happiness. A compliment lifts their mood. A delayed message ruins their day. A relationship becomes the center of their identity. When it ends, they feel as though they have lost themselves. A spicy Lady Sigma usually approaches life differently. She understands that people can add joy to her life, but they should never become the only source of it. This does not mean she never feels lonely or never experiences disappointment. She is human, just like everyone else. She feels heartbreak, rejection, and loss. The difference is that she does not allow those moments to define her future. She gives herself time to heal, learns from the experience, and continues building a life that still feels meaningful. Think about two women after a breakup. One immediately believes she has failed and begins searching for another relationship just to fill the empty space. The other takes time to reconnect with herself. She spends time with family, learns something new, enjoys quiet moments, and slowly moves forward. She is not pretending everything is fine. She simply refuses to believe that one person's decision determines the value of her life. Men notice this because it feels rare. There is something deeply attractive about meeting someone who already enjoys her own life instead of expecting another person to create one for her. IT removes pressure from the relationship and replaces it with freedom. The connection grows because two complete people are choosing each other, not because one person is trying to rescue the other from emptiness. Many spicy Lady Sigma never realize how inspiring this is. They are not trying to prove they do not need anyone. They simply understand an important truth. The healthiest relationships are built by people who know how to stand on their own before they choose to stand beside someone else. That quiet emotional strength is something men notice, respect, and remember long after first impressions have faded. Number 6. They judge character through ordinary moments. During ordinary moments, many men believe they're being evaluated during romantic dates. Spicy Lady Sigma often make decisions based on everyday moments instead. One thing many men never realize is that a spicy Lady Sigma is often paying the closest attention when nothing exciting is happening. She is not only watching how someone behaves during a romantic dinner or while trying to make a good impression. She learns far more from ordinary moments because that is where people's real character usually appears. Anyone can be charming for a few hours. Anyone can say the right words when they know they are being watched. Real character begins to show when the coffee order is wrong, when traffic causes delays, when plans suddenly change, or when there is nothing to gain from being kind. These small moments reveal habits that polished conversations often hide. For example, imagine a man speaking politely to a woman he wants to impress, but becoming impatient with a waiter who accidentally forgets his drink, that he may think it is a small mistake that everyone will overlook. A spicy Lady Sigma often sees something much deeper. She wonders if this is how he handles frustration in everyday life. If he loses patience over a simple inconvenience, what will happen when life brings a real challenge? She also notices the little acts that most people ignore. Does he thank the cleaner who is working quietly in the background? Does he return a Shopping cart instead of leaving it in the parking lot. Does he keep his word even when nobody is checking? These moments may seem ordinary, but together they paint a picture that is difficult to fake. Many spicy Lady Sigma understand that habits are more trustworthy than promises. Words can be carefully chosen, but everyday actions happen almost automatically. That is why they often trust patterns instead of impressive speeches. Men notice this over time because they realize she is not easily impressed by charm alone. She pays attention to consistency. She remembers how people behave when they are tired, disappointed, rushed, or faced with small inconveniences. Those moments reveal patience, respect, self-control, and humility better than any carefully planned date ever could. Many spicy Lady Sigma have no idea how uncommon this way of thinking is. They are simply looking for something solid instead of something exciting. Their quiet habit of studying ordinary moments helps them avoid many painful mistakes. In the end, character is rarely revealed during special occasions. It is revealed in the ordinary moments that most people believe do not matter, but often matter the most. Number 7. They make people hear their own words. One of the most fascinating things about a spicy Lady Sigma is that she rarely feels the need to interrupt people. She understands something that many overlook, that if you give people enough time to speak, they often reveal far more than they plan to. Without pressure, without arguments, and without clever tricks, people naturally expose what they truly believe. Many conversations today have become competitions. People are busy waiting for their turn to speak instead of listening. They interrupt, correct, and rush to prove a point. A spicy Lady Sigma often does the opposite. She listens carefully, asks a simple question now and then, and allows the conversation to unfold. What happens next is usually surprising. Imagine someone saying, "I never judge people." A few minutes later, the same person begins criticizing strangers based on their clothes, their jobs, or the neighborhood they live in. A spicy Lady Sigma does not need to point out the contradiction. She simply notices it. The other person has already revealed the truth without realizing it. This is why many men leave conversations with a spicy Lady Sigma feeling as though they said much more than they intended. It is not because she manipulated them. It is because they felt heard. When people feel listened to, they stop performing and begin speaking more honestly. They relax, lower their guard, and their real thoughts begin to appear. This habit also protects a spicy Lady Sigma from making quick judgments. She knows that the first 5 minutes rarely tell the whole story. Someone who seems confident may later reveal deep insecurity. Someone who appears quiet may turn out to be thoughtful and wise. By listening, she gathers a clearer picture before deciding what she thinks. Many spicy Lady Sigma have no idea how powerful this quiet skill is. They believe they are simply being patient. But patience often uncovers what force never can. A person can carefully control a few sentences, but very few can perfectly control an entire conversation. That is why men notice this quality over time. They realize she remembers what was actually said instead of what sounded impressive. She hears the difference between promises and patterns, between opinions and actions, and between confidence and honesty. In the end, the greatest listener is often the one who learns the most, because people almost always reveal themselves if they are simply given enough space to talk. Number 8, they create psychological distance without leaving. One of the most confusing experiences many men have with a spicy Lady Sigma is realizing that she can create distance without walking away. She may still answer your questions, sit across from you, and carry on a normal conversation, but something has quietly changed. The warmth is no longer the same. The openness has become more reserved. There is no argument, no dramatic goodbye, and no emotional scene. Yet the connection suddenly feels farther away than before. What many men fail to understand is that this change rarely happens without a reason. A spicy Lady Sigma does not usually pull back because of one small mistake or one disappointing day. She often reaches that point after noticing a pattern. It could be repeated dishonesty, broken promises, disrespect disguised as jokes, or realizing that someone's words no longer match their actions. Instead of creating unnecessary conflict, she simply protects her peace by becoming emotionally careful. Think about a phone battery. At first, it is fully charged and works effortlessly. But if you keep using it without giving it time to recharge, the power slowly fades. A spicy Lady Sigma is much the same with trust. Every disappointment quietly drains a little of her emotional investment. By the time others notice the change, she has already been processing it for a long time. For example, imagine a man who constantly cancels plans at the last minute with excuses that never quite add up. She may not argue or demand explanations every time. She continues being polite, but she stops sharing personal stories. She no longer asks about his day with the same curiosity. Her replies become shorter. The relationship still exists on the surface, but the emotional bridge underneath has started to disappear. Men notice this shift because it feels different from anger. Anger is loud and obvious. This is quiet. It feels like trying to reach someone who is standing right beside you, but is no longer inviting you into their inner world. That quiet distance often speaks louder than any argument ever could. Many spicy Lady Sigma do not even realize they do this. They're not trying to punish anyone or play emotional games. They simply understand that not every problem deserves a confrontation. Sometimes the wisest response is to protect your heart instead of fighting for someone who has already shown you how little they value it. The greatest distance is not measured by miles. It is measured by how much trust has quietly disappeared while two people are still standing in the same place. Number 9. They make validation feel irrelevant. One of the most unexpected things that happens around a spicy Lady Sigma is that many men slowly stop trying to impress her. First, they may tell bigger stories, highlight their achievements, or try to appear more successful than they really are. But after spending time with her, something begins to change. They realize those things do not earn the reaction they expected. She is not cold or difficult to please. She simply pays more attention to who a person is than to the image they are trying to create. This changes the entire conversation. Many people are used to environments where everyone is quietly competing for attention. Someone talks about a new car, so another person mentions a bigger one. Someone shares a success, so another feels the need to top it. Without realizing it, conversations become contests instead of connections. A spicy Lady Sigma often breaks that pattern. If someone spends 10 minutes talking about how important they are, she is more likely to notice whether they are respectful, patient, and honest than how impressive their story sounds. She understands that confidence does not need constant advertising. The people who know who they are usually have nothing to prove. Imagine a man who is used to winning people over with expensive watches, impressive job titles, or stories about influential friends. Those things usually attract attention. But with a spicy Lady Sigma, he notices something different. She asks about what he enjoys, how he handles difficult moments, what he has learned from failure, or what kind of person he hopes to become. Suddenly, the conversation moves away from appearance and toward character. That shift catches many men off guard. Some become uncomfortable because they have spent years polishing an image instead of developing themselves. Others feel relieved because for the first time in a long while, they no longer feel the pressure to perform. They realize they can simply be honest. Many spicy Lady Sigma have no idea they create this effect. They are not trying to test anyone or make people nervous. They simply value authenticity more than presentation. They understand that a relationship built on performance will always require another performance to survive. That is why men remember these conversations. Around a spicy Lady Sigma, validation loses its importance because pretending has no reward. What remains is something far more valuable, a chance to be seen for who you really are, not for the version of yourself you hoped would impress someone else. Number 10. They can sense emotional depth. One of the most overlooked qualities of a spicy Lady Sigma is her ability to sense when kindness comes with invisible strings attached. On the surface, everything may look generous. Someone offers help, gives expensive gifts, or constantly goes out of their way to be available. Most people would simply see a thoughtful person. A spicy Lady Sigma often notices something deeper. She quietly asks herself one question. Is this kindness freely given? Or is it a future bill waiting to be collected? She understands that not every act of generosity comes from a genuine heart. Sometimes people give because they expect loyalty, attention, special treatment, or emotional control in return. The repayment is never mentioned out loud, but it slowly appears later. Suddenly, the person reminds you of everything they have done for you. Or they become upset when you do not meet expectations you never agreed to. For example, imagine a man who insists on paying for everything every time they meet. At first, it seems thoughtful. But after a while, he starts saying things like, after everything I have done for you. Or, you owe me at least this much. In that moment, the gift stops feeling like generosity. It becomes a transaction that was disguised as kindness from the very beginning. A spicy lady Sigma pays close attention to these patterns. She knows that true generosity does not keep score, that it does not constantly remind people of what it sacrificed. Real kindness gives because it wants to, not because it is secretly purchasing influence over someone else's choices. This is one reason men are sometimes surprised when a spicy lady Sigma quietly creates distance. She is not rejecting kindness. She is protecting herself from emotional contracts that were written without her knowledge. She would rather receive less from someone with honest intentions than receive everything from someone who expects ownership in return. Many spicy lady Sigma do this naturally without realizing it. They have learned through experience that manipulation often wears the mask of generosity. Some of the most controlling people never raise their voice. They simply make others feel guilty for accepting what was freely offered. That quiet awareness becomes one of her greatest strengths. She understands that love, friendship, and respect should never feel like unpaid debts. The healthiest relationships are built on willing hearts, not invisible obligations. That is YA. Spicy Lady Sigma values sincerity above generosity because a small act given with no expectations is worth far more than a grand gesture carrying hidden conditions. Number 11. They prioritize presence over words. One of the deepest things men notice about a spicy Lady Sigma is that she pays far less attention to polished words than most people expect. She enjoys a good conversation and appreciates thoughtful compliments, but she knows that words are easy. Almost anyone can rehearse the right answers, memorize charming lines, or learn how to make a strong first impression. What is much harder to fake is the emotional atmosphere a person creates. A spicy Lady Sigma quietly asks herself questions that many people never think to ask. How do I feel after spending time with this person? Do I feel calm or drained? Do I feel respected or managed? Can I relax and be myself? Or do I feel like I have to watch every word I say? Those answers tell her more than any romantic speech ever could. Imagine meeting two different men. The first says everything perfectly. He knows exactly when to compliment, when to joke, and how to keep the conversation exciting. But after an hour with him, you feel strangely exhausted. It feels as though every moment was a performance. The second man is less polished. He laughs naturally, listens without rushing to reply, and never makes you feel judged. When you leave, you notice something surprising. You feel lighter, more peaceful, and completely comfortable. That feeling stays with you. This is what many spicy Lady Sigma naturally notice. They understand that people carry emotional energy into every conversation. Some create pressure, others create peace. Some make you question yourself. Others make you feel accepted without saying much at all. Men are often surprised by this because they spend so much time preparing what to say. They carefully think about compliments, stories, and clever jokes, believing that the perfect words will leave the biggest impression. Meanwhile, the spicy Lady Sigma is quietly paying attention to something entirely different. She is observing how his presence affects everyone around him. Many spicy Lady Sigma never realize how uncommon this way of thinking is. They understand that the best relationships are not built on impressive conversations alone. They are built on the feeling of emotional safety, mutual respect, and genuine peace. Long after people forget the exact words that were spoken, they almost always remember how someone made them feel. A spicy Lady Sigma knows that, and that is why she trusts the atmosphere more than the performance. Number 12. They leave psychological echoes. Perhaps one of the most remarkable things men notice about a spicy Lady Sigma is that she stays on their mind long after the conversation has ended. It is not because she was trying to appear mysterious or because she carefully planned every word she said. In fact, it is usually the opposite. She speaks naturally, listens with genuine interest, and says only what she truly means. Yet days later, people still find themselves thinking about her. This happens because many conversations today are quickly forgotten. People talk without really listening. They speak just to fill silence. Why the next day, Very little of the conversation remains. A spicy Lady Sigma often creates a different experience. She does not waste words. When she asks a question, it usually comes from real curiosity. When she shares an opinion, it often makes people stop and think instead of simply agreeing or disagreeing. Imagine a man mentioning that he has been working nonstop for years. Instead of praising his hard work or changing the subject, she quietly asks, "When was the last time you felt truly at peace?" She does not judge him or offer a long speech. The conversation moves on, but later that evening, while driving home or lying awake at night, that simple question keeps returning to his mind. He realizes he cannot remember the answer. That is what makes certain conversations unforgettable. They do not end when two people walk away. They continue inside the mind. A spicy Lady Sigma also understands something many people overlook. She does not try to control how others see her. She does not spend the entire conversation trying to leave the perfect impression. Ironically, that is exactly why her presence feels so memorable. People are free to experience her as she truly is instead of as someone trying to manage every opinion. Many spicy Lady Sigma have no idea they create this effect. They believe they are simply having an ordinary conversation. They never realize that their honesty, thoughtful questions, and quiet confidence often leave people reflecting long after the moment has passed. Life is full of people who are remembered because they were loud or dramatic. Those memories fade quickly. The ones that last are usually connected to someone who made us think, helped us see ourselves differently, or left us with a truth we were not expecting. That is the quiet gift of a spicy Lady Sigma. Her words may be few, but their impact continues to grow long after her voice is no longer heard. Final Words character leaves footprints long after words have disappeared. As we come to the end of this journey, one thing becomes clear. The qualities that leave the deepest impression are rarely loud or obvious ones. They are found in everyday choices, quiet habits, and the way a person consistently treats others. That is why so many spicy Lady Sigma have no idea what men truly notice about them. It is often not their appearance or anything they intentionally try to show. It is their honesty, emotional balance, thoughtful decisions, and the calm way they move through life. If you recognize yourself in these qualities, do not underestimate them. In a world where many people feel pressure to impress, there is something refreshing about being genuine. Real character cannot be copied, and real depth cannot be created overnight. Both are built through experience, self-reflection, and staying true to what matters most at the same time. Remember that no one is perfect. Every person has strengths and weaknesses, and there is always room to grow. The goal is not to become someone different. The goal is to become a wiser and more authentic version of yourself with each passing day. If this video gave you a new perspective, let us know in the comments which point spoke to you the most, or which one surprised you. Your story could encourage someone else who is watching. If you found value in this discussion, share it with others who would enjoy it and subscribe to join our community for more thoughtful conversations. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. And until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and keep choosing a life built on substance rather than appearances. And God bless you. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Nail polish, I'll see you in the next one.